GFW, Global Force Wrestling. Those words bring back so many emotions for me. A true roller coaster ride in the world of pro wrestling. What a trip down memory lane this will be for us today as we figure out what happened with GFW and where it all went wrong. JEFF, JARRETT, Jeff Jarrett, the king of the mountain and the founder of TNA Wrestling. See, when WCW went out of business, Jeff Jarrett got together with a few other business partners and started Total Nonstop Action Wrestling. They partnered with the National Wrestling Alliance to form NWA TNA. Eventually, it was split from the NWA and became TNA Wrestling. In 2002, Dixie Carter would join the fold as she would help the company with marketing and publicity. 2 months later, she was informed that TNA was in need of some serious money, and her main backer, Health South Corporation, was having financial problems due to it being investigated for account irregularities. Shortly after, she had contacted her parents, who owned Panda Energy International. That was a Dallas-based energy company, and in October of 2002, Dixie Carter and Panda Energy would buy 71% of TNA Wrestling. Carter was then appointed as the president of TNA Entertainment in the spring of 2003. In 2013, Jeff Jarrett tried to buy back TNA Wrestling. However, when he met with Bob Carter, Bob demanded that his daughter Dixie remained in the company as the on-screen president. Jeff Jarrett declined this and then decided that he was going to start his own wrestling company, Global Force Wrestling. With Jeff Jarrett out as a majority investor in TNA Wrestling, he debuted the branding for Global Force Wrestling on 14th of April and began promoting the brand and establishing international partnerships with wrestling promotions across the world via YouTube and globalforcewrestling.com. As part of GFW's partnerships with New Japan Pro Wrestling, they would help present Wrestle Kingdom 9 to the North American audiences. They helped provide English commentary for the event, having Jim Ross and Matt Stryker being the main voices. The wrestling promotion would be very quiet until 2015, where they started announcing wrestlers to the show. This included members of the Bullet Club, the Killer Elite Squad, and Chael Sonnen would be the expert analyst for the show. Although these people would be on the show, they were all under non-exclusive deals, meaning they could work anywhere and everywhere that they wanted, even though they were under contract with GFW. At this time, they would announce their 4 main championships. They would have the Global Championship, would be their world title, the Women's Championship, the Tag Team Championships, and the Next Gen Championship, which would essentially become their X Division title. On July 24, 2015, they would have their first set of TV tapings for GFW Amped in Las Vegas. They took place in the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada on July 24th, August 21st, and October 23rd. Leading up to the Amp shows, GFW would run shows in minor league baseball stadiums all around the United States as part of GFW's Grand Slam Tour. This was a bad look for them. These baseball stadium shows barely held a few hundred people in attendance. Essentially, these shows, well, they were worse than WWE house shows. Overall, the promotion held 36 live events, including the Amp Tapings. So GFW had the Amp Tapings, which featured many of the names, including former TNA guys Bobby Roode, Nick Aldis, and Sanjay Dutt. And a few other names that made a brief appearance at the tapings were Karrion Kross, Shelton Benjamin, and even Kushida. The tapings happened, champions were crowned, and then silence. Nothing came of this. Jeff Jarrett and GFW were having a very hard time finding a TV deal. GFW announced that they had signed an international TV distribution deal with Boulder Creek TV in the UK in 2015 and New Zealand's TVNZ Duke on February 18, 2016. Despite this, no tapings of Amp ever aired until 2017, when footage from them was aired as Impact's one-night-only pay-per-view specials. On March 2nd of 2017, TNA Wrestling would officially be rebranded as Impact Wrestling, with Anthem Sports being in charge of the production of the company for now. Jeff Jarrett stated that GFW and the newly renamed Impact Wrestling were becoming one day by day. And on April 20th episode of Impact Wrestling, Karen Jarrett announced that
GFW and Impact Wrestling have merged.
In a press release issued on June 24th, Impact Wrestling announced to their parent company, Anthem Sports Entertainment Corp., that entered an agreement to acquire the rights for GFW. After the announcement, Impact Wrestling rebranded and took the name Global Force Wrestling. All championships and branding of the Impact Wrestling were changed to GFW. The rebranding was actually very short-lived as they severed ties with Jeff Jarrett that October and they returned to the Impact Wrestling name. This was probably the darkest time for TNA. They almost lost the entire company. Billy Corgan bought TNA shortly after this, and it was saved when Don Callis and Scott D'Amore, as executive vice presidents, would take charge of Impact Wrestling's day-by-day operations. During GFW's era of Impact, Anthem released a streaming service called Global Wrestling Network, which featured content from their vast tape library and other sources. On October 14, 2018, Jeff Jarrett and Global Force Wrestling Entertainment announced that it had filed a lawsuit against Anthem Sports Entertainment with the District Court of Tennessee for the copyright infringement over the GFW rights, as Jeff Jarrett owned all GFW properties in 2014. It was revealed on February 19, 2019 that Jarrett filed another lawsuit claiming that Impact Wrestling had deleted the master copies of all 16 hours of GFW Amped. Jarrett also sued in an attempt to get the trademark of his name, likeness from Anthem Entertainment. Anthem countersued in July 2019, arguing that they were the rightful owner of all Jeff Jarrett copyright and that Jarrett knew that the master tapes had been deleted. They had made no money off GFW's content, and that looks like all the trademark of GFW and their former Global Wrestling Network are not similar. The whole trial was considered a mistrial and was thrown out. Jarrett tried to get another trial, but was denied. There have been many rumors as to what happened with Jeff Jarrett during the time of Impact Wrestling when it was renamed GFW, but we do know that there has been some personal issues going on with Jeff Jarrett at the time, and ultimately, he wasn't the same Jeff Jarrett that founded NWA TNA all these years ago. When Jeff Jarrett started Global Force Wrestling, it was intriguing. Surely, the founder of TNA Wrestling could make GFW a success. I will admit, I bought into this. TNA at the time had become a former shell of itself, and many believed that Jeff Jarrett could create a promotion that would be just as great as TNA was once. At first, it started off great. GFW was partnering with many different promotions around the world, and they even helped get English commentary to the New Japan Pro Wrestling. That was a nice addition. After GFW, well, they went quiet for way too long. Everyone wanted GFW to happen in the months of its inception of the company, but that wasn't the case. GFW ran many events in baseball stadiums, which was a terrible look for them. And these shows were probably low cost to put on, however, it almost made them the laughing stock of the internet. It made the company look like no one cared, as they could barely draw more than a few hundred fans to each of these shows. When they finally did the Amped Tapings in Las Vegas, they could not get a TV deal in North America. Jarrett wasn't looking to spend a ton of money out of pocket to get his show on TV. To me, these tapings were a pilot for an upcoming wrestling promotion that no network wanted to buy into. When they finally did see the light of day, and many years later, TNA one-night only specials on their streaming service. Another major issue was many of the original talent with GFW ended up signing with other major promotions by the time the tapings finally did air. Jarrett almost pulled it off though. He convinced whoever to rebrand Impact Wrestling to GFW. This was a dark 4 months for Impact. They crowned Alberto El Patron as champion, and then it came out that he had domestic violence charges against him, and they had to vacate the title. Then, they eventually dropped the GFW name and went back to Impact Wrestling. They're doing much better now as they have a strong partnership with All Elite Wrestling. If GFW is backed by a billionaire like Tony Khan, we may be seeing GFW on TV instead of AEW. Before we wrap this up, I have to talk about something. Global Force Gold. In 2016, Jeff Jarrett and GFW were hard up for money. Do you like gold? If you could save money in gold and make serious money at the same time, Would you be open to watching a 7-minute video and learning how it is possible? Join Team Jarrett now and earn your weight in 24K gold. In a video on globalforcegold.com, Jeff Jarrett said that he, his family, his friends, and his fans are all joining Team Jarrett, and that we can too. The website explains that if you enter your name, email address, and phone number, you'll be contacted and get a free autographed photo from Jeff Jarrett. You'll also get an opportunity to watch a 7-minute video. The 7-minute video went on to explain carrot bars and how you could invest and turn your money into gold. That's right, Jeff Jarrett got his promotion directly associated with a pyramid scheme. It can only be assumed that Jarrett was losing so much money that he literally had to scam the GFW fans.